get inside these, there's nothing is human about it, nothing is earthly about it at all. And even I got to see it, but probably from here to that fence away, across the road was the closest I got to it. But even from that distance, you could tell it wasn't earthly.
Like, what do you mean by that? Like?
Well, just the look of it, its appearance. It was material. You know, if we look at material here on Earth, we know that's plasterboard because we know what it looks like when it's painted. You know, it's got something that we're familiar with. This thing had nothing that resembled anything. It did not resemble anything on Earth.
It was on the ground.
Oh, it was in a hangar.
It wouldn't have wheels in it. Just had.
No, it had on. There was hydraulic jacks of sorts.
Oh, so that wasn't supported like that. Of human supporting it.
No, this is on its own undercarriage legs. Yeah, yeah. They had these 4 jacks that came out from the bottom of it. Yeah. And I got shown one thing. This is amazing. They had a you know the old glow weave jewellery used to be around many years ago. Remember, I had those little hexagonal shaped pieces with a glow mesh.
Yeah.
Well, they had a hatch in this thing, and I saw the panel. This is a panel off of it. It was actually inside a laboratory studying how this thing worked, and it looked like it was just straight like that, nothing there. And you go to touch it, and the whole thing would all these little hexagons would just fold in behind each other and open up this hatch, go through it, and it'll just close behind you. And it just looked like that again when it's closed. It's quite amazing.
So how would you get out?
Do the same thing. You just touch it, and it'll just open up, let you out. Just all folded back. It's like a pack of cards that just open up.
Shit.
And the bigger you were, it just the whole thing. I mean, if you could get it to open a depth of this far, if you needed to, or you could get it to go this far.
What was inside it? Nothing. Like, wouldn't be instruments like that. We know, would it?
Oh, the engineering, it was just, nothing we knew at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing we knew at all.
How long were you in the military for?
7 years.
Right.
Yeah.
So how did you actually get to see all this? I mean, that's classified. Big
Oh,
time.
it is. Well, I had some of the highest US government clearances ever given. That's the only reason why I got in Area 51, because of all the classified intelligence work I was doing.
So it's still there, all this is still there. That spaceship, spaceship still hidden away and all that.
Yeah. And also the work for NASA did there too, yeah.
Does it have windows?
No. No windows as such.
No windows at all.
There was, the guy told me there's no physically, visibly there's no windows, but from inside there are certain portholes you can look through like it's a one-way glass. It looks like you can't see from outside in, but you can see from inside out. Yeah.
And they haven't a clue where these things come from. So
none at all. But he says that the ceiling heights are about, probably about that high. That's all they are. The seats would be about a third of the size of that one you got your arm on. Widthwise, and only stand back off the floor. Yeah.
And what is it got, like a normal floor, or is it just some?
Oh, there's three decks in this thing. This thing was about 30 odd foot in depth. About 30 foot in depth and 120 foot diameter.
So where are the engines? Down the bottom?
They're in the bottom layer, yeah. There's three reactors in there.
Reactors like that?
Not we know, but like the best way he described it was like a an atom accelerator. That's the best way to describe it.
Scary.
And he said they gave out, each one of them put out enough power equivalent to around about 14 of our most powerful nuclear stations that we knew in those days, coupled together would start to get somewhere near what one of these things was capable of doing. Yeah. And when you looked inside, he says all their stuff, all their radio stuff, they're still trying to work out how they work. There was no hard wiring, not like we see here. There was no radio waves, but you had equipment sitting somewhere and it controlled something somewhere else.
Wireless electricity,
and you could not find out
Tesla was getting onto
how it was being controlled. Didn't know what medium they were using. Couldn't work it out.
It wouldn't be missing nothing down here on Earth.
Yeah, yeah.
So when that thing crashed, they would have been in communication with whoever was above them, and that they knew that crashed, and they just thought, you're on your own now.
Yeah, well, this particular craft didn't appear to be damaged. So I never got they wouldn't tell me, I never got to hear how they came to have possession of this thing. The big one I'm talking about. They did fly it, Yeah, they flew it. And they went halfway around the world, and he said it's quite amazing. But he says you have no. See, when you alter the atmosphere, and you interfere with gravity, and that's how this thing works, because the way they work, it interferes with our gravity on Earth, and gravity controls time on our Earth. A lot of people probably don't quite understand that, but it does. And generally, if you alter gravity, you will alter time, and you'll go futuristic, not past.
So the Yanks flew the thing.
Yeah.
Have been able to fly it.
They spent quite some years. They learned how to reverse engineer, and they actually flew it. I saw it hovering out at Area 51 on a couple of occasions, and this engineer said that they actually flew it twice.
Did it make funny noises, or you
No noise at all.
nothing at all, just silent?
No noise. And it was just sitting there. It was a bit of a funny, sort of a hum to it. That was about all you sort of heard. But he said what it did was, it just reversed because of the way it flew. They left the States, and they were halfway around the world in about 3 seconds.
What?
About 3 seconds. No gravity, no feel of gravity, because there's no gravity, you don't feel movement, you feel no acceleration, nothing. Yeah. And the other thing they did is when they